When we begin to meditate, especially if you are new to meditation, of course, at the beginning, you will not understand, right? It's like when you begin to learn new language, at the beginning, it's very difficult to understand. But then after a certain level, sometimes feel a little bit connection. You might feel a little bit peace or calm, feeling like something is right or joy, clear, something like that. Then that will go away normally. It will not last long. Then what happened? Sometimes we feel like getting worse. So normally, if you feel like you're getting worse in the meditation, the traditional style, what we call, that's the good news. That's a good sign. Why? We have a lot of example about that. So one example is if you have the cup is dirty, and then if you try to clean the cup, put some drop of water, move around, then all the dirty come out first. Look like become more dirty. The cup become more dirty. Actually, cup not become more dirty. It is a process of cleaning. So same thing, when we begin to meditate, then we feel after a certain level, our mind become more calm and clear. Then we begin to recognize these thoughts, emotions, because normally we have become one with them. Now we have become a little bit separate. Actually, not necessarily they are become more, but we feel like become more. So another example, traditional example is when the river become muddy, you cannot see fish in the river. But when the river become more calm and clear, you will see a lot of fish. Also good sign. And another reason why we feel like getting worse, because we have a lot of what we call imprint. In a way, it's like trauma. Could be strong trauma, or could be just unconscious imprint. By meditation, it will clean. They will purify it. So first come to the surface and then disappear. But the most important for the meditator is we need to recognize that is a good sign. That is normal. That is okay. But if you don't know that, then I want to meditate only for peace, calm, and joy. I don't want thought. I don't want to have disturbing emotions. Then meditation always stuck. And then what we call the meditation become a support for craving and aversion. Normally, meditation need to be opposite of craving and aversion. So normally I always emphasize, for example, if you watch the breath, like if you practice breathing meditation, let everything come, right? To-do list, okay. Bala bala bala, yada yada, okay. And emotion, stress, whatever, let everything come. So when you say no, they will become more. I think I mentioned a lot. No pizza, more pizza will come, right? So that's aversion. And then if you're looking for peace, calm, and joy, what happens? They will disappear. So what we call, when you look for peace and calm, we feel like they are running away. So don't care about peace, calm, and joy. Don't associate your meditation, peace, calm, and joy. So what you need to believe about meditation is awareness. And awareness always there. It doesn't matter whether you're calm or not calm, peaceful or not peace, clarity or doubt, agitation or joyful. It doesn't matter. Awareness always there. Remember, it's like sky. And all this bala 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 yada yada is like cloud in the sky. So no matter how storm comes in the sky never change. Pollution cannot change the nature of sky. So the sky is awareness. So slowly you will begin to discover the inner sky. So then you will see the cloud first, because you are separating from the cloud. So therefore, sometime at the beginning when we meditate, the another sign is a good sign is look like getting worse. And then especially if you recognize, oh, okay, let them, all this feeling of look like getting worse, let them come, let them go. Then after few days or sometimes even few hours, maybe the most week, it will change. Now we will have up experience. So normal up experience meaning peaceful, like joyful, or clarity like awake, presentness, or non-conceptual meaning not so much thought, mind become very calm. Sometimes feels like everything a little bit dreamish, not solid. So all this change. So up experience, few hours, few days, then again down experience, then go up. So experience always change. But then at the same time, you will have realization. Realization meaning now you are getting familiar with the awareness. You are getting familiar with your own mind. That never change. Once you got it, it's there with you. But the problem with the realization or recognition or realization is there's no really big flavor. Experience has a lot of flavor. So that down again, there's some time down with the dullness, sleepiness, dry, like that. Sometime down with what we call agitation, lot of thought, regret, doubt, maybe hatred, or strong different type of emotion comes. And then after a certain level go up. So which one better for the meditator? Both are same. So the traditional example in the Tibet, what we call, if you want to walk to the Lhasa from eastern Tibet, Lhasa is central Tibet, and from eastern Tibet, because in the past there's no car, no aeroplane, right? You have to walk. So the Tibet is a land of mountain. There's a lot of up and down. So sometime go up, sometime go down. So for the journey, up is good. You're getting close to Lhasa. Down also good, because you're getting close to Lhasa also. So it's part of journey. It's up and down. So then slowly, what we call the realization will develop. At the beginning, very subtle. And slowly, the realization is you're getting more familiar with your fundamental quality, the awareness, which is always there. It doesn't go up and down like sky. And all this experience up and down, you don't really care. And actually, in the end, all this becomes support for your meditation, right? Up and down. All the thought, emotion, feeling, perception, actually all phenomena can be support for meditation. So you can be happy everywhere, anytime, with anything. But it doesn't mean you will not have thought and emotion. You still have thought and emotion. You can have up and down, but the up and down not really bother you. You will find sometimes what we call inner safe place, which is the awareness with us.